Our passion didn't start with the mouth. It started with people, with the well-being of the profession. And if you're like me, maybe a little bit of your nerdiness and all things tech too. We all want to love what we do, but the truth is, burnout, people problems, and glass ceilings can keep us from doing what we set out to do. So let's get back to the heart of connection. Welcome to the Dental Handoff. This show is about passing you the knowledge, the habits, the systems, and the strategies to lead your teams, lean on your tech, and listen to your gut while you take care of people and truly the overall health of our communities. Let's stop using the wrong end of the toothbrush, y'all. My name is Dr. Kelly Tanner. Oh, and uniquely, I'm a dental hygienist too. You can consider me a guru in the dental and leadership industry. With over 3 decades of experience, my goal is to take you to the next level by empowering growth, perspective, and confidence. By identifying the gaps, recognizing the plaque, and extracting the truth with the other experts in the field. I'll share their stories, empower you to own yours, and elevate your passion in the process. So have a seat in the chair, put on your bib, and let's get to work. Welcome to the Dental Handoff. I am Dr. Kelly Tanner, and today I have a special guest, Mike Buckner. Mike, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is a great place to have it too.
Yeah, we are at the Catapult Retreat. If you guys don't know about Catapult Education, you should look them up online. But I met Mike last year at this retreat because I've been a member of this organization for 2 years, and Mike has been doing some amazing things in dentistry, and you have quite a history in dentistry.
Yeah, I've been in this space coming up on 11 years now, and it's kind of funny because when I first started, it was a company called Smile Reminder, way back in the day. And I thought, dental dentistry, like what I have no business being in here. I don't have any sort of dental background. It's not in my family. More or less just the business side, business development. And so I started at Solutionreach, and I had people tell me, they said, once you're in dental, you're never going to leave. Everyone just kind of like stays in dental. Once you're in dental, you stay in dental. And I thought, there's no way. But honestly, after being in the space for a couple of years, I thought I can never leave. I love the space. I love the networking, the relationships, and what was exciting to me is seeing these these practice owners implementing tools and technologies to help them efficiently run their business and improve overall patient care and improve just the efficiency and flow of their practice. I got hooked. Yeah.
It's neat to see the progression of things too. I mean, because with 11 years in the field and in the dental industry, you've seen so many changes just in your time here. I mean, I've been in for 30 years, but just even in this past 11, it's been amazing the capabilities that we have now.
Absolutely. I think back to when I first started at Smile Reminder, which changed its name to Solutionreach. And it was the first company to start text messaging.
Yeah.
Right? They were the first ones to start text messaging patients and reminding them of their appointments. And I remember, people were losing their minds over it. They were so excited about it. They're like, wait a second, I can text my patients and I don't have to have somebody call. And then this was clear back when some of the feedback was, my patients, they don't want to get a text. They'll get upset that, this is going to cost me, 10 cents or whatever to get a text message. And to see the progression of, the now what seems to be such a crowded space, that patient communication side of so many different companies and solutions that have continued to build and adapt and layer on technology on top of that. And it truly is, the fact that technology has such a short shelf life. What's relevant and what is game changing today, we just know that you've got to stay on top of your game, because in the next 6 months there's going to be new changes and adaptations to the technology and improvements, and that's going to continue, and we should expect that.
I remember when I got my first text ever. Do you remember like when you got your first, do you guys remember, pause for a second, when you got your first text, especially if you're around my age? Mike's much younger than me, but you remember, I thought it was so impersonal. Do you remember? I'm like, why don't they just call me? I don't understand why they're texting me.
Yes. And now we all know you get a phone call or a text message and from somebody that you don't know or from a number or a business. I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Like if you haven't scheduled a call with me, I don't have time for this right now. Yeah. Yep.
And then now it's almost like you get annoyed if people don't text you before they call you.
No.
Like, what is this? What kind of mutiny is this? Because I'm in meetings.
You have a problem with me? Why are you calling me right now? You haven't texted me to ask me if you could call me. Yeah.
So you've been in this side of the industry, and what kind of changes have you seen other than the texting and all of the capabilities that we've just alluded to? Now you're into a different space, which is life-changing. And I know that when I met you, I was like, my mind was blown about what you're doing at Pearl.
Yeah. So going back, actually, when I was at Weave, I spent about 4 years over at Weave, and I remember the conversations that we were having internally in the company around artificial intelligence and what artificial intelligence can do with chatbots and with texting. And at the time we were thinking, wow, this is, it's going to be interesting to see where artificial intelligence truly impacts the industry and what ways that artificial intelligence can really branch out and have different applications in different products. And so when I left Weave, I was speaking with a few different companies and kind of figuring out the next moves of where I wanted to go, and I came upon how artificial intelligence was being utilized with radiographs, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be the next big pinnacle in the dental space, and I truly believe that it will be the standard of care that will be expected, within every dental practice in the next few years.
Do people get scared by AI? Like, what's the feeling behind that?
Oh yeah, and it's the same sentiment that people got scared by text messages too. Like, oh, we can't do that. But and honestly, when you think about AI, there's a big misconception, and a lot of people just think, oh, this is computers taking over everything, and this is going to replace the dentist, and absolutely not. In fact, the how Pearl uses and implements AI is the efficiency and the accuracy when utilized with the dentist, in conjunction with the dentist. It's a tool to be used with the dentist. The findings and accuracy of the pathologies that are detected skyrocket, and so just knowing the benefits of it and where it's going, I think that now versus last year, the misconceptions, people are now aware of artificial intelligence being utilized with radiographs. People have heard about it, and now it's like, okay, we need it.
Yeah. So with this, it's not taking the place of the doctor or the hygienist or any specialist or anyone. It's truly like another set of eyes, is from what I have noticed with it too, because it helps the practitioner pick up on things, because as you all know, in your dental practices, you are running from room to room a lot of times, and what I see and what doctor sees can be very different. And so what I love about Pearl, and the second opinion is what it's called with Pearl, is that if doctor and I are both missing something, it picks up on it, because sometimes it's not so obvious.
Yeah.
Right? And so what is like one example that you could share with our audience about the difference that it's made in someone's life?
So I'm gonna actually kind of highlight how artificial intelligence can, the difference that it can make, not just in dentistry, but in medicine. AI has been utilized in medicine now for some time, and Pearl was the first company to actually bring that with FDA clearances into the dental space in March of 2022. And dentistry was behind the game. I mean, there were different specialties that were utilizing it. The biggest example, and to kind of get, go on a little personal side, this last year, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. But when we went in for a mammogram, they looked at the mammogram, black and white images. They looked at the mammogram and they said, yeah, it looks like something, but not typical of cancer. It doesn't look like breast cancer. So it's probably just a cyst. But, let's do an ultrasound. So we did an ultrasound. Again, black and white images, right? Looking at the ultrasound. Yeah, it looks like something, but it's not typical of breast cancer. I think it's probably a cyst. And we can do another one in a few years, or we can check back and kind of see if this is progressing, or if you want, you can do a biopsy. She calls me up and I'm thinking, wait, so they're basically going to just let you leave. We know that something's up. Yeah, let's do a biopsy. So we do a biopsy and find out she has stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. And at that point, I was like, my mind was blown, because I thought, okay, we've come so far in medicine, in technology, and yet we're still leaving it up for human interpretation, looking at these black and white images and really deciding kind of the fate or the path forward for this patient.
Yeah.
And, at that point, I was like, I really became passionate about this mission of AI into space, because when it comes down to it, the human eye can really only differentiate between 30 and 50 different shades or tonalities of gray. And with computers and artificial intelligence, it can basically differentiate between 550 and 750 different shades of gray. So it's able to go in to break down the variations and detect early stage caries, for example, that would be almost naked to the human eye. And so what we've seen oftentimes is, especially speaking with dentists, my first reaction when coming to this space was that people would think, oh, I'm good enough. I don't miss anything. I don't need artificial intelligence to look at my x-rays or radiographs. And I was wrong, because almost everyone that I speak with, the doctors say, I know I miss things on good days, bad days. What I pick up on or see on a radiograph might be different if I look at it at 8 a.m. versus after a long day, and I'm looking at it and I want to get out of here. And so even talking with the dentist, they know that, depending on things, we miss things. We miss things sometimes, especially if it's up to human interpretation to look at these radiographs. And so we've seen a massive impact. In fact, on average, when practices implement artificial intelligence to look at their radiographs, and when we do, we go in and we pull the last 18 months of x-rays, and we run them all through our AI detections, and to basically look for undiagnosed opportunity. And when we do that, especially within the first month of utilizing it, on average, practices are surfacing between $10,000 and $30,000 of just undiagnosed treatment of patients coming in that month. So it's made a huge impact in the space, and the acceptance of pulling in artificial intelligence. It's people, like I said, people now see it, and they know it, understand it, and they know that they need it.
That's mind-blowing. And the story with your wife, and you're exactly right. There's that fatigue that we all go through, and relying on those shades that we're only as good as what we're seeing on an x-ray. We truly don't know until you go in and if you were to literally biopsy something, send it off for pathology. What I also wonder too is, do you feel like this also gives the team confidence in what they're doing?
Confidence, but also, especially with our hygienists, that take the x-rays, the radiographs, and instantaneously, in real time, it pops up on Pearl's platform, and they're able to see all the detections. The caries, not just caries detections, but how far into the dentin, how far into the enamel, how far into the cementum. 62% of the decay is in the dentin, and to see that outline and then the breakdown of the tooth anatomy, it makes it easy to have those conversations with patients, because now they see it on the screen. They see that this is, backed by AI, and it really helps build trust. And the patients look at this, and in fact, we see on average, we see case acceptance skyrocket in practices up to 30-35%.
Wow.
Because patients see it and they're like, okay, let's move forward with it. And so, it's making big strides. Yeah, and changing the overall outcomes for sure.
And then I'm thinking too about periodontal disease. It's so hard to, I mean, usually when a patient comes to you, they're motivated by the fact that it hurts.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just, dentistry only gets more expensive, right? And so you want to catch it when it's early. And with Pearl, it gives you that percentage of confidence. It'll literally say, this is the confidence level that this is this as well, which I really love about that. And because it's giving me, it's almost like handing over the confidence to me to say, this is how confident I am. Okay, now I can make a decision or a recommendation on that. And then truly too, I feel like I always talk about, people say, Kelly, what are you passionate about? Leadership, people, and how technology connects leadership and people, and what it reinforces with the confidence that it allows for people to communicate, to bridge those life that to better someone's life. And so with this technology, it's allowing people to communicate in a way that they never could before with the patient, to actually hear what they're thinking.
Absolutely. And again, the kind of the whole flow too, especially with the hygienist that can look at the radiographs, pull it up, see all the detections, and almost, you're saving time, because then they're able to look, highlight, doctor comes in, she's already talked to the doctor and already, pulled it up in front of the patient. Again, because it's FDA cleared and it can be patient facing in real time, the patient sees it and they're like, okay, what is it? What's going on here? What's going on here? And that patient's primed, they're educated, they see it, they understand it. The doctor comes in and is able to further that educational, process to really let them know, here's the data. We're just presenting the facts now, and the emotions left out of it. Because I know that sometimes it's like, well, I know that this patient might only have X for insurance, and they might only be cleared for this. And so we might leave things out, or we'll watch this. We'll come back to this later. But when the patient can see it, and we give that decision up to them, we present the facts, we present what's going on, and let them decide, what they want to move forward with. That's really how that flow should be going.
Yeah, you're giving that patient the autonomy, which is part of our ethics and what we commit to with the American Dental Association, and that we're always going to give the patient that information, allow them to make that decision, because people truly can't make decisions if they don't have the information.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, period. And with this, it does pop out on the screen, and it gives us that opportunity for the patient. It's just like with 3D scanning or any other digital device, like with intraoral cameras that we're using. The patient goes, that doesn't look good. Why is that box around that? And what is that telling you? So it starts that dialogue that then it has them take the ownership of that. It's that accountability as well, because it takes it off of when we're talking about leadership and lessons, and it's that shift of accountability from one person to another, because I can't want something for my patient more than they want it. So how do I help them value that and my decision making, and how I'm communicating that to the patient?
Yeah. And, again, going back to just, we're utilizing a lot of the same technologies as far as x-rays go. We're still looking at the black and white images.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind sometimes when, the doctor or the team will show the patient the x-rays and say, do you see this little gray spot right here? And the patient's like, am I looking at teeth? Am I looking at, what am I looking at here? It's all black and white. And so to have the coloration come in with AI, to be able to say, this part on the x-ray, this is the dent, this is the pulp, and look at the measurements here, and we see that circle where the caries is and how close it is to the pulp. Today, the treatment plan is going to be different if we wait any longer, because once we touch this area, it's a completely different treatment plan. Again, we're giving them the tools and the information to come together with the clinician and make the decisions together as to how to improve their overall oral health.
Amazing. And also too, with this AI, has it strengthened the opportunity to, because I know as a hygienist that when we're in the operatory talking about things and doctor talks about things, when they walk up to the front, a lot of times there's that amnesia that happens from the operatory to the front desk. And if it's a standard within the practice to use it, it feels like it almost um, empowers the team to know, to have the confidence in the doctor and in the practice. And so there's this overall ripple effect for the community. I feel like if they know that you're that office that's using that technology to care for patients.
Yeah. And in that whole process too, it's the differentiator, right? It's the patients knowing that, wow, this practice is utilizing AI with their diagnoses, and that's a big differentiator. And then for the patient to be able to have a printout that shows the images and the areas that AI, detected and picked up. And again, before showing any of this to the patient, the doctor can always go in and say, you know what, we're going to watch this one. I'm going to unhighlight or remove this one. So they have that editing capability, and then they can print it out, show it to the patient, so that when they do go up to the front and they have that printout showing everything that's going on, it helps with that overall case acceptance.
And I feel like too, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've worked in practices and I've temped to where sometimes I'm questioning, like, how do I say this in an appropriate way? Sometimes I wonder if the doctor is seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. And I start to question it, especially when I was temping, and it was, they were completely on a different page than what I was. So this truly like calibrates the team, and it holds them, it gives them, again, I keep saying the word accountability, but I think that with this, if everyone knows that everyone's doing the right thing for that team and for that patient, there's no room for questioning, wow, that doctor is over treating or that doctor is under treating, because what we know with the most of the board of dentistry cases is that the number one reason why doctors get sued, I mean, there's always going to be lawsuits, right? But the reason why they lose the cases is because they have failure to diagnose, right? And so what are you seeing with that piece?
Yeah, in fact, it's crazy, especially recently, the number of law firms that are out there that are advertising to patients saying, "Hey, did your dentist miss this or periodontal disease? Did they not catch it earlier?" Or they're basically advertising to the patient saying, "Hey, let's go after your dentist." And so again, this just really helps, like you said, calibrate the whole team, make sure that it's not diagnosing. And that's, I guess, a really important piece here is it's not diagnosing as far as this is how we should proceed, but it's highlighting the detection, saying, team, doctor, let's come together. These are the areas that AI is saying there's a high likelihood that XYZ is going on here. And so it helps make sure that nothing is missed. The team can come together, unite the team on how to move forward.
Yeah.
So the differences between what the hygienist sees, what the doctor sees, now they can come together and discuss it and talk about it, see it, and then decide how to go forward.
It's almost like another team member, isn't it? Going, hey, Mike, there's something you need to look at over here. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? To bring everyone together with that. And then if we talk about retention and a lot of the team retention and the things that keep that team together with that confidence in doctor and what they're providing for the patients, it serves that why of why we're all in dentistry, I think, too, because we're there to improve lives. I've talked to thousands of folks across the world about their why, the question of why you're in dentistry and why did you choose dentistry? And it's about the people. It's about the human element. So if your practice is like this, your patients are out talking about it. They're taking the screenshot with their phone of their screen, and it's on their camera roll, and they're with their groups. And just think about the ripple effect of this in your community and what that means for patient referrals, for team retention, because technology truly pulls people together in a way that it's hard to measure that, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, it pulls people together. It is about that connecting piece, that connecting element. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny because it is kind of a play on words, but it definitely connects. It definitely connects us, and we learned during COVID the importance of connection with our families because we were so isolated. And I feel like that this second opinion piece, and then also the other piece of the practice
intelligence.
yeah, the practice intelligence as well. It truly connects us to what we don't know and what the possibilities are. I don't know about you if you've ever lost your phone. You literally don't know what you're missing. Like if there's some meetings or something that you're supposed to be at, it pulls everything together for that communication.
Yeah.
So Mike, how do people get in touch with you? How do they learn more about this technology and, to connect with your team?
Yeah, so our website is hellopearl.com. Feel free to reach out to me. My email is mike@hellopearl.com, and would love to get you in touch with one of our account executives and be able to show you firsthand and walk you through, how AI can really help and how it's implemented into the practice and reading the images and what the patient flow looks like. So would love to show you, and feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. It's an honor to have you here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. And so for all of our listeners, thanks to Mike for coming out. If you wouldn't mind doing me a favor and going on Google Podcast to give us a 5-star rating. Come on, Mike. 5-star rating. And then also like and subscribe to us on YouTube at the Dental Handoff. Hope you guys are doing well and keep making a difference. Thank you.